Hey, it's me. So there's something that I want to talk about that might sound abstract at first, but it's not. It touches everything: how we live, how we suffer, and how we come home to ourselves. Every one of us is part of something greater. And I don't mean that in a poetic way, I mean it literally. What we usually call you is really just one small expression of a larger field of awareness that holds all of us. You've probably heard the phrase, we are all one. Maybe it sounded nice or vague, but when you start doing inner work and you get to know all the different parts of yourself, the ones you're proud of and the ones you're not, you might start to feel the truth of it. You're not one solid person, you're a collection of aspects. And all of those aspects, even the ones that contradict each other, live in the same body. They all belong to you. And somehow, over time, you start making peace with that. That's the beginning of understanding something much bigger. There's a layer of you that's deeper than any mood or reaction. It's not always easy to reach, but when you do, it holds this clarity, this love, this wisdom that seems to come from somewhere beyond your personality. And yet, it's you too. That's the part of you that's connected to everything. Now, there's a kind of fear that shows up when we touch that space. It's like the ego panics. It thinks, if I surrender to this, will I still exist? That fear creates resistance. When the truth is, the more we reconnect to that deeper field, the more ourselves we actually become, the more whole we feel, not less. You might wonder why there's even a gap between the small self and the all. Why the split happened? People have called it the fall or the loss of grace. I want to share kind of another way of looking at it. Not to give you cosmic trivia, but because understanding this can actually help you feel less afraid in your own life. Imagine this. Before there was form, there was only this bright, alive spark. It wasn't big, but it held everything: consciousness, creation, love, intelligence. That spark started to expand, slowly pushing into the emptiness. Not a scary emptiness, just absence, like a vacuum. So the spark kept spreading, and over time, parts of it moved so far out that they forgot where they came from. They felt alone, like they had to fight to survive, when they were never really alone. The connection was never really broken. It was just that it felt like it was. And that's what we experience when we feel separate. It's not the truth, but it feels real. And that disconnection, when we resist our own life force, when we fight our own feelings, when we cling to fear, that's what creates what we sometimes call evil. Not some monster hiding out there, just the distortion of what was originally whole and good. Eventually, every part that feels cut off gets touched again by the original spark. The light catches up to the lonely places, and they remember. That's happening inside you right now. Every time you accept something in yourself you used to reject, every time you bring presence to a place you used to avoid. It helps to remember this when you feel the old resistance come up, like when you know something isn't serving you anymore, but you still cling to it. Part of you believes if you let go, you'll disappear. Or maybe it feels like dying. But what actually disappears is the illusion. And what's left is so much bigger and more alive than anything the fear could imagine. This isn't just philosophy. It's here in your daily life. That feeling of panic you get when you're about to be really honest. or when you're about to face the part of you that still hates or envies or wants to run away. That's the edge. That's where the vacuum meets the spark. And it's where you get to choose again and again to let life move through you. One of the biggest blocks to that movement is how we relate to our feelings. Most of us grew up believing that the goal is to get rid of the bad ones, push down the rage, hide the grief, smile over the fear. And then we wonder why we feel stuck. You can't get rid of feelings. That's not how it works. You can repress them, deny them, ignore them, but that just creates more tension. The real freedom is learning to let your feelings move, to feel what's actually there without getting swallowed by it. There's a difference between being overwhelmed and being open to emotion. One keeps you stuck, the other makes you more flexible, more human, more alive. The goal isn't to be free of anger or sadness or fear. The goal is to be able to experience any of it without it owning you. That's what fluidity looks like. That's what aliveness looks like. Movement is the nature of life. The vacuum is what stays frozen. The spark is what moves. So if you want to live from the spark, you've got to move with it in your body, your heart, your thoughts. That means moving your body to let the energy flow, moving your emotions by letting them be expressed, not acted out, but allowed, and moving your mind by challenging the stories and fixed beliefs that you cling to, especially the ones that say, this is just how I am, or they're always like that. Those are the traps. They feel safe. They're not. It doesn't mean forcing feelings or faking them. It's not about performing. It's about getting honest. And some people, especially those used to drama, might need to slow down and not rush into these practices. For those who are ready, you'll find that when you let yourself feel freely, you don't get stuck anymore. You become responsive, more at peace. You stop fighting your own energy. And that's what this work is really about. Returning to flow, letting the current of your soul guide you instead of trying to control it with your mind or willpower. You're not here to reach some perfect frozen state where you never feel anger or pain again. You're here to stay alive, to keep growing, to let your inner world stay in motion so your outer life can align with it. I'm going to offer you a practice that you can start with. Sit quietly and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Not what you think you should feel, not what you felt yesterday, right now. Even if it's faint, give it space, let it build, let yourself fully experience it. And then see what other feelings are waiting underneath. Keep going. Okay, so that practice is for your feelings, and here's a practice for your thoughts. Think of a situation in your life that's bothering you. Notice the conclusion you've already drawn. Maybe you're convinced someone's wrong or that there's no way out. Now gently ask yourself, what if there's another way to see this? You're not trying to force yourself to believe something new. You're just playing with the possibility. That playfulness is how the mind softens, how inspiration sneaks in. A fixed mind creates fixed feelings, and fixed feelings create more suffering. When the mind opens, energy moves again. You can also try this meditation. Pick a situation that's bothering you and look at it through the lens of pride. How is pride shaping your response? What would happen if you let pride go? Does it feel like you'd be humiliated? If so, ask for another possibility, one that includes dignity without defensiveness. Do the same with willpower. What would this look like without that tight grip of control? Could you still be clear, still have boundaries, without forcing anything? Then look at the fear underneath it all. Ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if I let go of pride and control? You might discover that what you're really afraid of is that life won't catch you, that the universe can't be trusted. That's where most fear comes from. What if it can, though? What if it's always been holding you, even when you couldn't feel it? You don't have to believe that right away. Just try it on. Let the question sit with you. What would it feel like to trust the movement of life again? These are the kind of practices that will help you remember who you are. Not in theory, right down to your cells, in the way you walk, breathe, speak, love. You are part of something good. You always have been. And there is nothing in you or around you that can't be met with love. If you're willing to stop running and turn toward it. Be gentle with yourself and keep going. Love you. Connect soon.